Hello and welcome to this tutorial for users of Microsoft Word 2016 for the Mac. In this tutorial we're going to look at how you distribute your completed documents. And the first thing we'll look at here is printing. You can go to the print settings either by clicking the File menu and clicking on the print option. As you see there, I'll just press the escape key to close that menu. Or if you go to the shortcut menu at the top of the screen there, you'll see the print button over on the right. If for some reason you don't have that button, click on the small drop down arrow to the right there and you'll see the print option in the list, and just make sure that has a check mark against it. Again, I'll just cancel that menu, come back to my print button and click on that to open the print settings dialog. And the first thing we'll look at here is the copies and pages section. Over on the left you can see a preview of the document, and you can actually turn that off or turn it back on using the show quick preview option here. You can see I've got 5 pages in total in the document, and I can step through and view each page by using these forward or back buttons. The double arrow button, by the way, either jumps to the beginning of the document on the left hand side, or if I click on the double arrow on the right, that will jump me to the end of the document. Over on the right I have a number of options, and the first one is to choose how many copies of the document I would like. I can either use these small buttons to the right there to increase or decrease the number, or type in the value into the box like so. When you have multiple copies printed, you might choose to collate the document, and in this case pages 1 to 5 printed, and then 1 to 5 printed again until it's completed, in this case 5 copies. If you switch off collation, all the page 1s will be printed first, all the page 2s will be printed second, and so on. In this case I'll leave collation switched on. Further down we have the option to decide which parts of the document to print. The default is all, but you can change it to current page, and that will in this case show me the first page. If you wanted to print a different page, what you would have to do is cancel the print dialog, return to the document window, and then scroll down to whichever page you wanted to print. So let's say I wanted to print Jane's ticket sales report. I would click anywhere in that page, go back to the print options, and then choose current page, and the preview is showing me Jane's ticket sales report there, as you can see. If I want to print a range of pages within the document, I can do that. If I click on the From option, I can choose to print from, for example, page 3 to page 5. And if we look at the preview, you'll see I now have 3 pages, and I can just click through to view those 3 that I've chosen to print. Alternatively, I can specify a non-consecutive range of pages. So if I click into page range, you can see on the instructions here, I can click into that box and type in, for example, the number 1, type a comma, then the number 4, type a comma, and the number 5, and those are the 3 pages I will print. And again, the preview will show only pages 1, 4 and 5. Again, for this document I'm happy to print all the pages, so I will leave all selected. And if I come back to the top of that section, click on the drop down menu and come down to print settings, this is where you can select the quality of your printout. First of all, in media type I've got plain paper selected, but if I was printing photographs or illustrations, I might be using a higher quality paper, and in that case I can select the type of paper I'm using from the list here. So we have ultra glossy or photo quality inkjet. Whichever paper you're using, you can select something that matches that type of paper in the list, and obviously your printer will have different options to the printer that I'm using here, but it's just to give you an illustration of the different choices that you have. So I'm going to press the escape key to cancel that menu and leave it set on plain papers. Next we can choose to print in colour, or if you prefer to save your colour ink, you can switch to grayscale. I'll leave it set on colour for now. And finally here you can choose whether to have your print quality low or high, depending on how quickly you need the printout. So for example, if I switch to quality as a priority, that will give me a nicer looking printout, but it will take a little bit longer to print. Alternatively, I can click on the speed option to give me a lower quality but a much quicker printout. So for example, if you wanted a draft printout of your document to review before printing the final version, speed might be the option that you would choose. And if you want more options, you can click on the advanced button there and come to the print quality drop down, and here we have fast economy, economy, normal and fine. You'll notice that other options are greyed out there, and that will depend on the type of paper you've selected above. So for example, if I'd selected photo quality paper, I would have photo options available here. I'll leave the options set on normal here, press the escape key, and once I was happy with all my settings, I can go ahead and click the print button. Or if I change my mind about printing, I could click the cancel button. If you send your documents away to be printed, the printer might specify that you send a PDF file type, PDF meaning portable document format, and it's a simple matter to save your documents as a PDF file by simply clicking the File menu, choosing Save As, and in the File Format section that's currently set to Word document, click on the drop down arrow, and if I scroll down there you will see PDF as an option. Incidentally, if you're sending documents to people with Microsoft Word and you're not sure what version they might have, you can save the document in this Word 97 to 2004 file format, which is a much more universal format and can be opened by any version of Word from the last 20 years. However, let's come back to PDF, and if I click on PDF, and I'll save that onto the desktop and then click Export. And if I come across to my desktop on the right there, you will see the file. If I now double click that, my PDF preview window opens and I can go through the document and check that it looks okay before sending it away to the printer. I'll close that down for now. And one thing you might want to consider if you're sharing documents and you'd like to restrict who can and who can't open those documents is applying a password to your document files. And if I wanted to apply a password to this document, I would come to the Review tab and then come over to the Protect section and click on Protect Document. And in the Password Protect dialog box, I have options to set a password to open the document and also a password to modify the document. I'll set a password for both of these so you can see how they work. And for my document password, I will type the word Fred, press the Enter key, and now I retype the password just to make sure I didn't make a typing mistake the first time. Click OK. If the password matches, by the way, you won't get any warning messages. If I now click into the password box to modify the document, I will type in there Fred1. Again, press the Enter key, type the password again to confirm, click OK, and those two passwords are now set. I'm also going to check the read only option. And the final option here, privacy, I'm going to click on that, and that will remove the personal information that is normally saved with the file when I click on save. So I'll click OK, and I'm going to save my password document to a different location. If I click on File, choose Save As, instead of the document folder, I'll save it to the desktop again and click Save. I'm now going to close the document, so click File and Close. And if I come over to the right side of my desktop, you'll see the file I've just saved, and the padlock icon indicates it does have a password applied. And if I now double click on that document to open, the first thing I'll see is a dialog box asking for my open password. So if I type in Fred, which is the password to open, just press the Enter key. And next I have a dialog that asks me for the password to modify. If I didn't have the modify password at this stage, I could click Read Only. So let's assume I don't know this password, and I click on Read Only. And let's say I now try and modify this document, so I might try and select my opening title there and deleting that. If I now press the delete button on the keyboard, absolutely nothing happens. If I try and apply some formatting, well, you can see already it's completely pointless. All the buttons are completely grayed out, so I can't modify anything on this document in terms of changing the content or reformatting the document. It's completely protected. Now, just because this copy is protected, it doesn't mean the user can't make another copy of the document and change that. So there is an option here to save a copy of the document and create a duplicate. So if I click on that duplicate button, I can change the file name. So if I change it from report 2 to report 3, just check it's saving on the desktop, click on save, and I'll close that password protected document. And if I now come to open my duplicate document, I still get the password required to open the document, so type in Fred. And this time, if I press the Enter key, I've got a little warning dialog here saying that the document should be opened as read-only unless changes to it need to be saved. And then it asks me if I'd like to open it as read-only. I'm going to say no. and the document will open. And what I can do here now, if I just move that document window up there, and again just expand the width, I can now select any part of the document, and you can see there I can modify it any way I want. So in the case of a password protected document, that particular copy with the password protection applied can be secured, but there's nothing to stop somebody making a copy and changing the duplicate if they want to. So the only way to stop someone changing one of your documents is not to allow them access to it in the first place, and that's where the document open password comes in useful. And that completes this look at printing and sharing documents. I hope you found some things there that are useful and you can apply to the documents that you're working on. But in the meantime, thank you for watching.